The Deep Depths event is next up in Pokemon GO, bringing with it some brand new Pokemon. And in this video, I will be going through everything the event has to offer and the best tips to help you make the most of it. So the event does take place from the 19th at 10 AM until the 24th at 8 PM local time. But what exactly does it have to offer? So for the bonuses, you will have half hatch distance for eggs placed into incubators during the event. You will also have an increased chance to encounter and hatch shiny Clauncher. There will be field research rewarding event-themed encounters, a free timed research will be available rewarding 10 Cubfu candy, a mysterious component, encounters with event-themed Pokemon, and once you complete this timed research, you will also get an additional bonus of 2 times catch Stardust, and this will be active for the remainder of the event. And there is also the option of purchasing a $2 ticket that will get you 2 super incubators, 1 star piece, and encounters with Clauncher and Nickit. Collection challenges will be available rewarding XP, Stardust, and event-themed encounters, and Pokestop showcases will be available. And most importantly for this event is that Nickit and its evolution Thievul will be making their debut, and you can evolve Nickit into Thievul with 50 candy. But how exactly do you get encounters with Nickit? Well, there are a couple of ways. Firstly, the wild encounters for the event will be Murkrow, Sneasel, Corphish, Clamperl, Purloin, Female Frillish, Clauncher, which will have increased shiny rates, and rarely you will be able to encounter the new Pokemon Nickit. In 7km eggs will be Galarian Corsola, Pawniard, Clauncher, which will have increased shiny rates again, and the new Nickit. In max battles will be Max Machop, Max Chansey, Max Scorbunny, and Max Phalanx. For the raids, in 5-star raids will be Tapu Koko with Legacy move Nature's Madness, and it will have a raid hour on the 19th at 6 PM. Then on the 22nd at 10 AM, Heatran will be taking over, and it will have a raid hour on the 26th at 6 PM. In Mega Raids will be Mega Swampert up until the 22nd at 10 AM, and then Mega Pinsir will be taking over. And in 5-star Shadow Raids will be Shadow Regice. And I will be going through the best counters for some of these raid bosses later on in the video, but first, which event Pokemon are most worth focusing on? So we do have Sneasel spawning in the wild, and its evolution Weavile is actually a decent budget raid attacker, being the 18th best Dark type with Snarl and Foul Play, and the 19th best Ice type with Ice Shard and Avalanche. I would, however, recommend powering up a Shadow Weavile instead if you have it, because the Shadow is the 7th best Dark type and the 8th best Ice type. There is also the opportunity to pick up Frillish from the wild, and with it being in the wild with no IV floor, it will be easier to get PvP IVs. Its evolution Jellicent is ranked 17 in the Great League with 114-14 IVs, and it's the 9th best in the Ultra League with 614-15 IVs. And Clauncher doesn't have any meta relevance, but with it having a boosted shiny rate during the event, it's a good chance to hunt it. And we do have Nickits available for the first time, and its evolution Thievul has a max CP of 2415, attack of 172, defense of 164, and HP of 172, and it can learn these fast attacks and these charge attacks. It unfortunately doesn't seem like it'll see much play as a raid attacker, and for Go Battle League it does pick up some wins in the Great League, but generally it won't see much play with its current moveset. Now for the eggs, we do have the Galarian form of Corsola available, and this one is particularly useful for the Pokedex, because the Johtonian Corsola is regional and exclusive to tropical coastal regions shown on this map. And if you haven't managed to get one of these Johtonian Corsola yet, the Galarian Corsola will count for this dex entry. Not only that, but Galarian Corsola is actually one of the best Pokemon in the Great League, being ranked 6 with 0-15-15 IVs. To get close to these IVs though, you would need to do a mirror trade with a low friendship level friend, but Galarian Corsola isn't available in the wild currently, so getting them from these eggs is pretty much all you can do. We also have Pawniard in these eggs, and whilst not meta relevant at the moment, Bisharp does have an evolution coming to the game in the future, which is King Gambit, and it will most likely have meta relevance, so it's worth keeping some candy for that in the future. For max battles, Max Machop is worth battling because the candy will be worth it for investing in G-Max Machamp, because it will be the best fighting type attacker for max battles, and it is coming at some point this season. It will be better than G-Max Urshifu because both of those forms don't have a fighting type G-Max move. The Rapid Strike form will have a water type G-Max move, and the Single Strike will have a dark type move. Max Urshifu, however, is a better option than Max Machamp in terms of relevance, but Max Machamp is a lot more accessible. Max Chansey will be available, and it has a very high HP stat of 487, and even higher is Blissey at 496. This means it will be a very strong Max Spirit user because Max Spirit does heal an amount that is a percentage of the user's HP. Level 1 Max Spirit heals 8% of the user's max HP, level 2 does 12%, and level 3 does 16%. So this Pokemon will be the best Max Spirit user in the game, and it would generally be swapped into during the Dynamax phase to heal up the team, so it won't be taking damage. Blissey is also a very useful gym defender, so worth getting for that, especially if you are a free-to-play player that relies on gyms for a Pokecoin source. Max Scorbunny isn't really worth investing in because there are better fire types for max battles. However, it is worth doing the battles when you see them for candy, because G-Max Cinderace will be the best fire type for max battles when it eventually comes to the game. For the raids, Tapu Koko is actually the 8th best fairy type attacker with quick attack and legacy move Nature's Madness, which it will have from these raids. And for Heatran, it's the 10th best fire type attacker with Fire Spin and legacy move Magma Storm, which unfortunately it won't have from these raids. And Heatran is also ranked 44 in the Master League. But if you do want to use an Elite Charge TM to get Magma Storm, I would recommend doing so on a Shadow Heatran if you have one, because Shadow Heatran is the 3rd best fire type overall with Magma Storm. And Mega Swampert is worth raiding if you haven't Mega Evolved one before, because it is the 2nd best water type attacker with Water Gun and legacy move Hydro Cannon, and it's the 9th best ground type with Mudshot and Earthquake. And Swampert itself is a good Pokemon for Go Battle League. It's ranked 85 in the Great League with 0, 14, 14 IVs. It's ranked 35 in the Ultra League with 0, 14, 13, and it's ranked 84 in the Master League. Mega Pinsir will also have relevance as well because it is the 2nd best bug type attacker, second only to Mega Heracross. But with that said, what are the best counters for these raid bosses? Well, for Heatran, it does have a raid TP of 49,192, and 100% IVs are 2145 and 2681 boosted in sunny and snowy weather. It is a fire and steel type, therefore it is weak to fighting, water, and has a double weakness to ground type attacks. The best counters are Primal Groudon, Mega Garchomp, Shadow Groudon, Shadow Garchomp, Landorus in its Therian form, Shadow Rhyperior, Groudon, Mega Swampert, Shadow Excadrill, and Garchomp. And for budget counters which are generally easier to obtain and to power up, I would recommend Garchomp, Rhyperior, Excadrill, Rhydon, Mamoswine, and Golurk. This raid can be soloed, but it is a bit of a tough solo, so unless you have some of the best counters at high levels, I would recommend a second trainer and partying up to use party power. And for Mega Pinsir, it does have a raid TP of 47,614, and the 100% IVs for Pinsir are 1690 and 2113 boosted in rainy weather. Mega Pinsir is a bug and flying type, and therefore it is weak to flying, fire, electric, ice, and it has a double weakness to rock type attacks. The best counters are Mega Diancie, Mega Rayquaza, Mega Aerodactyl, Shadow Rhyperior, Mega Tyranitar, Shadow Rampardos, Shadow Gigalith, Tyrantrum, Shadow Aerodactyl, and Terrakion. And for budget counters, I would recommend Tyrantrum, Rhyperior, Gigalith, Rampardos, Aerodactyl, and Archeops. Again, this can be soloed with the best counters at high levels, but another trainer will be helpful, especially as you can then party up. Now, for whichever Pokemon you do decide on focusing on during this event, here are some ways you can maximize candy for them. So firstly, you can always use Pinap Berries to boost your candy gains, and you can Mega Evolve a Pokemon that shares a type with the Pokemon you want more candy on, so each catch will get you more candy, Candy XL, and XP. But what makes most sense to Mega Evolve during this event? Well, this event is mostly a dark and water type themed event to tie in with the Might and Mastery season that features Urshifu, which has dark and water type forms. So generally, these two types are going to cover the most Pokemon in this event. And there is a Pokemon that you can Mega Evolve that is both of these types, so it will be an ideal pick for this event, and that is Mega Gyarados. But if you don't have access to Mega Gyarados, I would recommend Mega Evolving a water or dark type, depending on what you want the most candy for. For water types, you could Mega Evolve Blastoise, Slowbro, Swampert, or Revert Kyogre. This will get you extra candy for Corphish, Clamperl, Frillish, Clauncher, and Swampert. Alternatively, you could Mega Evolve Houndoom, Tyranitar, Sableye, or Absol to get more candy for Murkrow, Sneasel, Purloin, or Nickit. And with the focus being on dark and water types, it's a good chance to progress your Platinum Delinquent and Swimmer medals. And make sure that whichever Pokemon you decide to Mega Evolve is at the max Mega level, because you will get more candy, XP, and chance for Candy XL if you Mega Evolve something at max Mega level. And trading will also get you extra candy depending on the distance between the two Pokemon traded. 10 kilometers or below will get you 1 candy and a 10% chance for Candy XL. Between 10 kilometers and 99.9 kilometers, you'll get 2 candy and a 25% chance for Candy XL. And if the distance exceeds 100 kilometers, you'll get 3 candy and a guaranteed Candy XL. And remember, you do get a guaranteed XL candy per trade this season because of the seasonal bonus. So it is a really good time to be trading and working on your Platinum Gentleman and Pilot medals. Worth noting though that the guaranteed XL candy you do get from the seasonal bonus does seem to overwrite the one that you get for regular trading, so you won't be able to get 2 Candy XL from a trade, you will still only be able to get 1. And if you are going to raid any of the 5-star raid bosses, I would recommend doing so during raid hour, because you will get a guaranteed rare Candy XL for each raid completed during raid hour. And if you didn't know, rare Candy XL can be turned into XL candy for any Pokemon of your choice, so it is a very important item to have, and this is probably the most accessible it's been in the game so far. So it's well worth doing 5-star raids during raid hours this season, and this will help you progress your Platinum Rising Star and Battle Legend medals. Now, alongside candy, you will need Stardust to power up the Pokemon of your choice. And luckily, during this event, there are some ways to get more Stardust than usual. So upon completing the free timed research you get during this event, you will be granted with a 2 times catch Stardust bonus. And alongside a star piece, you will be able to get 300 Stardust per catch. However though, if you don't have many star pieces, I would save them for a 3x catch Stardust community day in the future. If you do decide to use star pieces during this event, however, you could also go through your field research stack to catch any Stardust boosted Pokemon you might have in there, Pokemon like Paris or Dino and Shelder for example. And remember, there will be Pokestop showcases taking place throughout the event, and this will get you some free XP and Stardust just for taking part. And if you do happen to place highly, you can get premium items like lucky eggs and star pieces that you can use to get more XP and Stardust in the future. And you might even get some incubators, which are especially helpful for free-to-play players, especially during this event, which has a bit of a hatching element to it. And if you can manage to win some of these, it will help you progress your showcase star medal that will eventually get you a PhD Pikachu encounter. Now, if you did enjoy this video, then I recommend checking out this video on the screen now, where I go through all of the features that have disappeared from Pokemon Go over the years.